This is Pet Life Radio. Let's talk pets.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Groomer Humor on Pet Life Radio. Once again, we are your hosts. I'm Rudy V, along with Anthony Ray. We want to thank our producer, Mark Winter, Pet Life Radio, for giving us the opportunity to talk to you guys. And ultimately, we want to thank you guys for listening in and making the show what it is today. In this episode of Groomer Humor, we're going to be talking about the spring season. And we're calling this season, 'Tis the Season to Be Matted. We're going to be talking about matted dogs. We got that, and we got our funny comment segment coming up in this episode of Groomer Humor.
Pets are part of the family. Make sure you can always afford the quality health care they need with Easy Pet Check, a nationwide pet insurance alternative. With Easy Pet Check, you'll save up to 75% on all your pet's health care at any licensed veterinarian in the U.S. Easy Pet Check accepts all dogs and cats regardless of pre-existing conditions. Visit EasyPetCheck.com. That's the letters EasyPetCheck.com. Taking care of your pet can be easy with Easy Pet Check.
Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back to Groomer Humor. Once again, we're your hosts. I'm Rudy V, along with my little bambino, Anthony Ray. And like we said, guys, we're going to be faced with what we're faced with every year, and that's the matted dog, guys. So I know you groomers are all ears on this one, and I'm sure most of you will agree. You got to prepare. You got to prepare. Right, Ant?
Oh, yeah. Make sure those blades are sharpened and make sure you don't overbook, because some dogs that usually would take you an hour, hour and a half are now going to take you twice the time. So some people think that shaving down is like the easier thing to do.
I know.
I was always
glad you mentioned
confused by that. Yeah, I don't. I mean, I guess to somebody who doesn't know much about grooming, I can see how it's, zip zap and a boom. But it's no,
bang,
shave
bang.
downs are incredibly difficult.
Yeah. Give him the shave down. You got that guy. Give him the buzz cut.
Yeah. Buzz it down, zip zap, boom. I'll be back. What do you need? Half hour?
Yeah, half hour. I'm going to get lunch next door. I'll pick him up about what? Half hour? 20 minutes? Yeah. No. I don't think so. No, it's a good point, Anthony. Listen, the thing about shave downs is that, you don't have to worry about how the dog comes out so much. Like, you don't have to, do this like fine detailed haircut. It's kind of like, no, listen, it's a buzz down. It just comes out how it comes out. It has no hair anyway. In that sense, it's easier, but it's actually much harder in the sense of, like you said, it's much harder to prep them. It takes a long time to shave down a dog. We just buzzed down a matted Lhasa the other day. It was so severely matted, it took me about an hour and 20 minutes just to buzz it down. That's like when you add it up and you got another 7-8 dogs waiting to get groomed. That's a lot of time to be taken on just one dog. And then also the fear factor of it. Now you got these really, really sharp blades that you're bringing right close to the skin, right up against the skin. So you got to worry about burning the dog. You got to worry about nicking the dog, cutting the dog, especially if it's a jumpy dog. So again, guys, it's difficult. It's really hard.
Yeah, and that's all taking place before you even get to put them in the tub and do their nails, dry, all that stuff,
Right.
So it's
then
very
redo them.
Right. And the worst too is a lot of times, especially with older dogs, when you go to shave down an older dog, now you're dealing with all of those, a lot of dogs get like those growths, and now they're so easy to hit. Sometimes all you got to do is touch it, not even with the clippers, and they'll start to bleed, those scabby growths and stuff. Shaving down an older dog is now that's a whole nother thing. Man, it's so much pressure. It's surgery at 9 o'clock in the morning, basically.
Exactly. Or you got like all the gunk underneath the eye of like a Shih Tzu or a matted Bichon. You got all the gook underneath the eye actually turns into like a scab, and if you can't work it out in the tub, you have to literally get like a 30 blade behind there. And, the eyes underneath the eyes is going to be irritated, because this stuff's been laying on their face for the past 6 months. So, hey, listen, there's a way to avoid this. Get the dog groomed during the winter.
Yeah.
Don't have the concept of, I'm going to let him grow out in the winter so he stays warmer. I get that. But listen, if it means your dog getting matted, then get your dog groomed. This way the groomer can at least save a little bit of coat so your dog still stays warm. And, and go get a coat. Go get a sweater. Go to Pet Life Radio. They have great sweaters and stuff like that.
Nice plug. What a professional.
Yeah, there you go.
This guy's a professional over
Pet
here.
Life Radio, man. I know, man. You gotta support my own over here, baby.
All seriousness, though, it's not worth that, especially that eye gook stuff. I mean, there's been times where it's been so bad we have to do it in sessions where it's like, honestly, can't clip this out. It's going to gash the dog open. We have to soften this up in the tub over multiple sessions and work it out slowly over time. If it gets that bad, you just always try to avoid that. It's terrible. It's a huge undertaking as the pet owner and the groomer. And the dog certainly doesn't like it.
Exactly. Yeah. And then the other thing as a groomer, what you have to keep in mind too, guys, listen, I hate to say it, but release forms.
Yeah.
Get your customers to sign a release form, especially if the dog is extremely mad at them. Sorry, but that's just the way it is nowadays. You know what I mean? You cannot be fully responsible for nicking a dog or irritating a dog because, that dog hasn't come in for 6 to 8 months or even a year. How is that the groomer's responsibility? The groomer's actually doing you a favor by taking on that challenge. So release forms. And, and again, we can avoid this by bringing your dog in for regular groomings, even during the winter season.
Yeah, there's a big difference between a groomer having neglect and accidentally barbecuing your dog because they used heat-based dryers and they never turned it off.
Yeah.
There's a big gap between that kind of negligence that the groomer is responsible for and you not bringing your dog in for 8 months, and then there's a nick because it just happens. There's a huge difference between the two of those. Groomers are responsible for some things, but...
Yeah. Exactly. It's not neglect. It's an accident. Yes, you're neglecting the dog if you're not bringing him in for groomings. But another thing that a groomer should do is, while talking to the customer, explain to them that the dog may be nicked. There may be some clipper burn because it's so matted, or, the dog may just feel like really, really weird and irritated after you shave all that hair off. So, just prep the owner as to what may happen after this, shave down process.
Yeah, that's a good point. This is why you have to talk to your groomer. And as a groomer, you got to talk to the customers. You have to trust each other. This just happened to my neighbor recently. They get their dog groomed regularly, but this last time they did it, they went a little bit shorter and the dog felt weird and started scratching behind his ear vigorously to the point where the dog was hurting itself, bleeding and all of that. So whose fault is that? This is why you need to trust each other, the groomer and the pet owner, because it's like, okay, well, did the groomer do something that irritated the dog, or is it just an unfortunate circumstance where the dog feels weird? You can't, once you just go and start pointing fingers and stuff, it's like you forget the main point of, okay, well, let's just try to solve this. Why is the dog doing that? Let's try to get something on it that will improve it. So you can't just go be quick to, I'm suing you. It's like, well, no, you're not. You can't. I didn't do anything.
Right. Well, you're not gonna sue anyone because there's gonna be proof that your dog hasn't been groomed in a year.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're responsible for that. But what happens a lot too is the dogs feel so weird. We did a matted Bichon not too long ago where it hadn't been done for over a year. So you can only imagine how matted this dog was.
Yeah.
And when you shave the mats off of the ears, now the dog feels really weird, and they shake their head vigorously. They just shake
Yeah.
their head and constantly, which causes hematomas at the tips of the ears. So their ears blow up. It almost looks like there's little balloons at the end of their ears because of the excessive shaking. All of the blood starts rushing to the tip of the ear, and that happens. So again, just it's part of grooming. It's part of what happens. But let's try to avoid this. Let's try to avoid this. You should never let your dog get matted. What you can do at home is, if you want your dog to grow out over winter, then make sure you just keep your dog brushed out. That's all.
Yeah.
And take our advice. Always brush prior to a bath. Use a slicker brush. Use the right equipment, and don't overbathe your dog, because if you overbathe your dog, it's going to contribute to the matting. Okay, and so keep your dog brushed out over the winter, and then at least this way, when you do bring your dog to the groomer in the spring, in the early spring, they don't have to do this extensive shave down or this really close shave down. They can actually leave some coat on, and the dog won't have that problem.
Yeah, and if any of you are, and I'm talking to pet owners now, if any of you are struggling with the notion that every time you bring your dog to a groomer, all they want to do is shave it down, listen, if it makes you feel any better, no groomer wants to shave your dog down.
Oh.
It is not the easy, and I know it's a huge misconception. I'm not even saying that oh, you guys need to stop. That's not what I'm saying. I'm trying to give you some clarity here. If a groomer says that to you, it's not the easier route, and a lot of people think that. It's like,
Absolutely
oh, well, they just
not.
want to shave them down because it's easier. No, that's not. Just trust us on this. No groomer actually wants to shave your dog down.
Right. It's the truth. It's not our intention to shave your dog down. It's our intention to actually just clean your dog up, make your dog feel more comfortable, and actually give them a haircut that's fitting for them. And here's the thing, too. There's a difference between the customer that just wants the dog shaved down, and some customers want the dog shaved down regularly. Like, we have customers that come in every 6 weeks and say, just take them short. But the thing is that when you do that, the dog is very used to that. He's used to being short, so he doesn't suffer from that weird feeling or the nicks or anything, because when you're bringing a dog in every 6 weeks and they want to shave down, they're never matted. You're not dealing with the matting part of that. You know what I'm saying? It's the matting that is the problem here, the excessive matting, especially behind the ears or in the crotch area. I mean, we've done dogs that are so matted in the, like male dogs, where you can't tell between the fur and the dog's penis, or his testicles are literally attached to the inside of his legs. I mean, Anthony could probably explain that feeling to you, but we're talking dogs.
It's not pleasant.
It's
Let's
not
just put it that way. It's not pleasant.
But seriously, you don't even know what you're cutting. God forbid you try to go in there with scissors. Like Anthony's saying, it's not easy to shave down a dog. But I think the point we're trying to stress here is, don't ever let your dog get matted. Not to that degree. Not to severity.
No, I have. It's a very easy but a long sought after truth and tip for all of you. Here's the trick to the whole thing: 4 to 6 weeks.
There you go.
That's it. It's 4 to 6 weeks. If you can brush your dog a lot at home and they don't mind it and you're able to do it, then you could push it to 8. But don't ever above that. It is my own personal opinion. Not with dogs that aren't short-coated anyway.
Yeah. You know what? That's a great point, man. That's the rule of thumb. 4 to 6 weeks. Like you said, man, if you're brushing at home and you're doing a little bit of grooming at home, I mean, some people are, they're pretty hands-on.
Yeah.
You can go 8 weeks or maybe even a little longer. But again, if you're going to get a dog, especially nowadays, right? What are we seeing, Anthony? What's walking through?
Havanese, Cockapoos,
Labradoodles, Golden Doodles, Mini Doodles, anything with a poodle in it, okay? Prepare yourself, man. Include the grooming in that. Include the grooming in that equation. Like you said, man, 4 to 6 weeks. And know that when you buy that little mini doodle, okay, you are going to have that dog groomed 4 to 6 weeks. It's going to cost you whatever it costs you, depending on where you live, man. It's going to cost you anywhere between $70 and $100 every time you go in. Maybe even more if you're out in LA,
Yeah.
That's just the way it is. So you really have to think about that. And if you're not prepared for that, what do we always say? Get a Frenchie.
That's really all it comes down to. Again, a very simple but effective tip is...
I think Frenchies are the answers to a lot of problems. Get a Frenchie.
They are, yeah, right. And I'm a pug fanatic, but that's not even where I go when I give somebody a short-coated recommendation. I go to a Frenchie because I would say Frenchies must be the most low maintenance dog you could possibly have.
Yeah, and they're cute.
They're adorable. And there's other short-coated breeds out there like Italian Greyhounds, but unless you have the energy for that and their nails get super, super long, then again, back to the Frenchie now, because Frenchie's nails, they grow, but like they, not like the Italian Greyhound. Greyhound gets like the daggers going.
Right, right. You got to be careful with that too. You don't want to get a dog that can outrun a cheetah.
Yeah, exactly. So again, Frenchies, because a Frenchie could run fast, but they'll topple over because they're very they're top heavy.
Because they're klutzes.
Yeah, they're very klutzy.
Along with pugs, they just tend to smash into things.
Mm-hmm. Right. But again, it's very easy, or much easier anyway, because with a Frenchie, all you got to do is worry about keep his weight down. That's it. As long as you don't have an overweight Frenchie, you're going to be fine. It really comes down to that. If you're not going to get a short-coated dog, which I really am shocked that more people don't. Yeah. We get a lot of, there's so many, even just people who aren't our customers, people really love the doodles.
People loving the doodles.
Doodles.
They're great dogs. I love them too. But, what we're finding is that, again, people just aren't informed enough. They buy the dog out of their heart, and the cuteness, and they're adorable little dogs. But you really do have to think about the grooming end of it. We always think about, we got to bring him to the vet, and I want to get his shots. I want to get his rabies, his distemper, his heartworm pills. And, we always think along those lines. But that's the purpose of this show, guys. Grooming has to be thought of, too. Equally, if not more, because you're going to see your groomer more than you see your vet. You go to the vet twice a year, you go to the groomer, 6, 7, 8 times a year or more. So again, just think about the grooming, and that's why we're glad you guys are tuning in. It's the purpose of our show is to educate you guys and really try to help. We want to help the dogs ultimately. We don't want dogs getting matted. We see it all the time and we feel bad. I don't want to have to shave down a dog. You got to think of this too. Now the dog has to stand there for extra time. I don't want to do that to your dog. I would rather make the grooming short and sweet. You know what I mean? So that, the dog just has an easier time. And when the dog is matted, they never have an easy time.
I remember long ago, Shelties were popular. Mm-hmm. And as a groomer, I just couldn't understand because Shelties are so much work, and I couldn't understand why these kept popping up as often as they were. And if anybody doesn't know, a Sheltie is basically a mini collie. It's what they look like. Until I went to a pet store, had stumbled into one randomly one day, and then it all made sense when I saw the Sheltie puppies. Yeah. Oh, that's why people keep buying Shelties. They are the cutest puppies I have ever seen in my life.
Yeah, yeah.
I couldn't understand it before that because Shelties, unless I was just unlucky, a lot of the Shelties I was meeting didn't really have a really great disposition. They're very cute and everything, but lots of work, lots of raking, kind of a bitey kind of breed. And then you see the puppies and it's like, people keep getting got. That's why. They're the cutest puppies ever. And then, then you get a Sheltie.
Yeah, that's a good breed to point out too, because when a Sheltie is a puppy, they don't have their double coat yet. No. So it seems easy. It's like, this dog is easy, until they get to be, 6 months, 10 months, and they start blowing their coat and they get their undercoat. And now you got a very high maintenance dog that, again, it may not be a haircut dog like your Doodles or your Poodles or your Shih Tzus, your Lhasas, but it's going to be that thick coated double coat that you have to rake out. You got to rake that undercoat out because it will mat up too. We have shaved down many a Sheltie because their undercoat is so thick that it turns into a mat. Yeah. So it's one of those things where it's like, Sheltie, pretty high maintenance dog, man.
It doesn't look like it. And you know what, too? Speaking of that, I'm no longer going to add black labs or labs in general to my recommendation list of low maintenance dog because they're not quite as low maintenance as they look. And I've always made that mistake when I tell people, if you want something bigger, low maintenance, go with a lab. You can, but same thing. That coat, when it blows and oh my goodness.
Shedding.
The shedding and you got to rake a lab. Yep. Many of them anyway. There are some of those breeds, again, kind of like Shelties, where you get got. It looks like a low-maintenance dog. Looks like, I'll just brush it out and it'll be fine. But the raking and the shedding, it's a lot.
Yeah. if you really, really want low maintenance, like we're talking about, like you get what's called a flat-coated dog.
Yeah,
flat-coated is, dogs like your French bulldogs or even your Dobermans or your pits. Those are flat-coated dogs. Again, if you're looking for really, really low maintenance dogs, get what's called a flat-coated dog. But another thing I wanted to mention before we take our break and we go to our funny segment is, guys, this is for you groomers out there. If a dog comes to your shop and it is too matted, okay, and you feel like it's too much, you feel in your heart of hearts that, hey, man, I am more than likely going to nick or cut this dog badly, guys, don't do it.
Yeah.
Okay? Don't do it. It should be done by a vet. Some dogs, I'm not even kidding, some dogs are so severely matted, okay, and we see this all the time, that they literally have to be put under anesthesia to be shaved down, okay? Should it ever get that way? No, it should never get that way, but it does, and we see it. But again, guys, you dog groomers out there, you know what I'm talking about. If you feel that, and I'm not saying that, don't do matted dogs. You're going to have tons of matted dogs. But if you feel that it's, out of your, ability to do, or you just have a bad feeling about it, you can always say no. Okay. Just protect yourselves.
That's a really good point too. And I think you mentioned it in our last show, where the importance of confidence.
Yeah.
And that's exactly why you don't do it if you're not feeling confident, because another groomer might feel confident.
Yeah, that's
So,
right.
That's
right.
And you never know if you're a female. Some dogs prefer men, or other dogs prefer female. If something's not clicking, don't do it, because dog can possibly get done by another groomer in your area, where it's not even like the dog has to still go to the vet or anything like that.
Yeah.
Just don't. You got to know when to call it. That's a really big quality of that's when you know what you're doing as a dog groomer, knowing when to fold them.
Yeah, I've had it here where it's like I've booked a really matted dog or whatever, and I literally just didn't sleep good that night because I was so worried about it, and I didn't feel confident that day. And I asked the people to come back another day when I'm feeling better. Again, it's just emotional. It's such an emotional thing to be a dog groomer, and they come back another day when I'm more rested and I feel more confident and I'm able to do the dog. So it's a good point. Maybe another groomer did have a good night's rest or whatever, and they feel confident that day, and they're able to do it.
It happens to us all the time too, when we get more often with puppies, where their first time meeting us, they just won't stay still, and they're a little bit matted up, and we need to get the clippers on them, but they're a puppy and they've never met us before, and it just looks like impossible. And for some reason, if the customer is patient enough and we say, hey, can you come back another day on a less booked day or after hours or something like that, and then the second time around, it's a success. So you gotta know when.
You just wanted to say that again.
Yeah.
I wanted you to.
Yeah, because it's a good point, and it's a funny one, because I get to sing. Who sings that?
Kenny Rogers, I think.
I don't know.
Yeah, Kenny. Yep. Did you see
Rogers.
Mark said yep. Mark's a musician, so he would know. He would know.
Who's the guy who sings Yamo Be There?
That's Michael McDonald.
Michael McDonald.
Yeah, my Yamo Be There.
Not
Michael
a fan, but
I'm not a fan.
neither is our producer.
Mark. This one.
Yep, that gave us the thumbs down.
There you go. Oh man. So yeah, guys. So that's the whole point of this show. So we'll sum it up there. Just, I guess the answer to it is try not to let your dog get matted. Get him in for grooming. You know what I mean? And this way you can avoid all of the potential problems. But with that being said, guys, we're going to go to a break here. When we come back, we're going to read our funny segment. So we'll be right back on Groomer Humor.
So, Dad, I got a question for you.
What's that, Ant?
What was your reaction when you heard that Ben & Jerry's was branching out into doggy desserts?
And when I found out that Ben & Jerry's was now for dogs, I ran to the freezer and pulled out a pint of Peanut Butter World. I ate it so fast I gave myself a brain freeze.
I had a very similar reaction, actually, except I went with the Cherry Garcia.
Oh, I love that flavor. Yeah, that's the classic flavor, the Cherry Garcia. Yeah. Guys, with so many clients walking through our door looking for a good, tasty treat for their dogs, we were so glad to let them know that Ben & Jerry's had a a treat for them.
Yeah, there's a lot of treats out there that have tried to jump on the doggy train and rely on gimmicks and quick sales, and Ben & Jerry's has really put a lot of focus on quality ingredients and some great flavors. That's, I think, finally going to allow your dog to feel what we feel when eating Ben & Jerry's.
Absolutely. In fact, guys, we chose 10 of our customers here at the grooming shop and gave them samples of both the rosy flavored and the paunch flavored to see which flavor their dogs would prefer.
Yeah. And of course, expectedly, the results were quite decisive when all 10 of them said their dogs quickly consumed both.
Absolutely. You know, one of my favorite memories of eating Ben & Jerry's was devouring multiple pints of cookie dough while binge watching Breaking Bad. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do, actually. You want to know what one of mine was? My fondest memory was eating a couple pints of the old Chunky Monkey for no reason at all. Just because it's delicious, and it was because it was called Chunky Monkey. Who doesn't want to know what that tastes like? So, one thing's for sure, there's going to be a lot of happy dogs out there. So, what we want you guys to do is check out both doggy flavors at benjerry.com. That's BenJerry.com. You could also check out all the K9ers at the Ben Jerry's Vermont office at benjerry.com. Again, that's BenJerry.com.
Let's talk pets
Let's talk pets
on Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back to Groomer Humor on Pet Life Radio. We are your hosts. I'm Anthony Ray, hanging out with my dad, Rudy B, as we sit here and ruin the Doobie Brothers with Michael McDonald. Hanging out. Yamo B there. Yeah. So, as usual, as has been the case more recently, yeah, we're off the rails again. It's what we like to do. We like to seriously talk about grooming, and then we just see where God takes us.
Yes.
And God took us to the Doobie Brothers and Michael McDonald.
That's we have to give credits to our producer Mark Winter on that one.
During the break, he
informed us that Michael McDonald ruined the Doobie Brothers. I thought that was hysterical.
Yeah. Good times always on Groomer Humor. But yeah, anyway, just quick summary. Try to avoid the mad and mess that winter is sure to bring many of you. Try to do 4 to 6 weeks, 8 if you could do some brushing, you could push it. But that's pretty much it. Winter, don't feel too bad. Winter kind of ruins everybody, so it's it's not.
Right, we're all a little unkept in the winter.
Exactly.
So anyway, we're going to get to this funny comment segment right now.
I'm a professional.
So this one says, and this one just, okay, I'm just going to read it. This is coming off of our YouTube channel. Go to Grooming by Rudy on YouTube, and, you could check out our channel. So this is coming from our YouTube channel. So this gentleman says, how do you guys have 21K subscribers? I can't get through one of your videos. Too much talking! Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point.
Okay, so 3 exclamation points.
Yeah. How do we have 21K subscribers? Shut up.
Here's my first question.
Jerk.
My first question is, and I'm guilty of it myself, is does he think that adding extra exclamation points makes him louder?
I guess.
Because you only need 1. That's just, that's 1 is yelling.
Yeah.
That's all. 3 doesn't make you yell louder, you idiot. So, yeah.
You know what I want to do to this guy? I don't know him. This is what I want to do. You ever see Clockwork Orange, the movie Clockwork Orange? When do
the eye clamp.
I don't want to do the eye clamp. I want to do the ear clamp, and I want him to hear my voice, like in speakers, like all day and all night, and me just talking about pads and nails and just I want to keep talking. It's teaching him, and this is what we're going to do here. We're going to do pads now, and we're going to do nails now, and this is what we do when we clean the ears. And all he has to do is hear my voice 24/7 for for months.
They should use that for Navy SEALs training.
Wow.
Like, 'cause I heard that they have to do some torture
Maybe
stuff.
I
to make sure that they hold up. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. They could just put our videos on. Yeah, it's like a thing. They have to make sure in case they ever become a POW to not give up information. So they kind of do like Kind of what you said.
Yep,
Like,
they'll give up after I start. But dude, I'm starting to take that personally, man. I get that all the time. Everybody, you talk too much. What do you want me to do? Am I not supposed?
Yeah.
Am I not? You know what? I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to talk anymore. I'm just going to just watch the video.
That's the thing, though. That's how are you supposed to teach without talking? You're going to have some people say, "Well, you're supposed to show, don't tell." It's like, well, no, we're doing both. Isn't that better? Wouldn't you prefer not only that we show it up close, which we do pretty much better than anybody, and tell you what we're doing? Isn't that better teaching?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm just, whatever. How do you have 21K subscribers? It's right. We got 21K subscribers. How about that?
That's an achievement.
Yeah.
And if he really wants to watch an annoying video of ours, he can go to the one where you can't even hear what you're saying because I decided to put blasting techno music in the background and screwed up the whole video. And it's one of our most popular videos, too.
Yeah, it's another one we have to just contend with all the time.
That video was posted, I think, 3 years ago, and we still get comments on it. Please, this music is ridiculous. I want to reach through the screen and say, we haven't used music in our videos in 3 years. Please, I learned.
But you know what's funny about that? We have people that say in the comments, can you please turn down the music? It's a video. We can't, there's not a volume button on it.
Right.
It's already, it's rendered. Even I know what that is. It's rendered and posted. It's etched. We can't turn the volume down on it.
It's rendered. That's great. Yeah, it's rendered. Even I know what that is.
You know what I'm saying? Like, can you please turn the volume down? Oh, okay.
Right. It doesn't work that way. I can't go back in time and turn it on and turn it down.
It's over.
I have considered reposting that video with no music, but I don't know if we get in trouble for that.
Right. I don't know. If you guys want me to shut up, just tell me. I'll shut up. But
you can't. How are you supposed to shut up? You're teaching people how to groom.
Yeah. I'm not.
What are you supposed to do? Mime it?
Yeah. Right. So, I'm not going to shut up anyway.
That's a dumb joke for me to say on radio because I can't. The punchline would be me pretending to mime. Nobody can see me except for you two.
So stupid, Anthony. Just to wrap this up.
All right, well, that guy was a jerk. They get the point. Okay. All right. Thanks so much for stopping by, guys. As always, we'd like to thank our producer, Mark Winter. Thank you so much, Mark. If you haven't already, head on over to our YouTube channel. It's called Grooming by Rudy. That's Grooming by Rudy on YouTube.com. Leave a comment, like, share, and subscribe. We want to hear from all you guys. You could also like Grooming by Rudy on Facebook. Follow Grooming by Rudy on Instagram and Twitter. It has been an absolute pleasure as always. Until next time, take care of yourselves and your pets.
Let's Talk Pets, every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.